Friends, for some time we have been taking various aspects of the mind, which is quite an intriguing topic. So today I choose to speak to you about the immense creativity that the mind has. We all know what kind of sets, what kind of drama, what kind of dialogues, what kind of suspense the mind creates for us within our own being. And we consider all that to be true. We become a character in whatever drama the mind has created, and we start playing that role, and this becomes evident in our life in the outer world. So this is how the mind makes us its slaves. There are many stories about the mind. I'll be talking about them at some point of time or the other. But for today, I have chosen a story which illustrates the creative power of the mind and how the mind traps one in its own creation. It creates a world of imagination, and that it makes us live in that world. The story I have chosen for you is something where Mullah Nasruddin is the main character. Mullah is a favorite character of the Sufi saints, and they have used him time and again to impart some teachings. It is believed that Mullah Nasruddin himself was a very wise man. He lived centuries ago, and he deliberately behaved like a fool so that he could show to the embodied beings how trapped they were in their own minds. And in course of time, many stories which were full of teachings were coined in Mullah's name. So the story I am going to share with you is one such story, because it is placed in modern times. And according to this story, Mullah was traveling in the Bombay local. A young man approached him and politely asked him, "Sir, what is the time by your watch?" And instead of telling him the time, Mullah just pushed him aside and shouted at him, "You idiot, you get lost." Now the young man was completely taken aback. For a few moments he was nonplussed. He didn't know how to react. And then he realized that this man has misbehaved with him for no reason. And anger began to build up inside him. He came up to Mullah, grabbed him by the collar and said, "Why did you have to behave with me like this? I can just throw you out." And now it was Mullah's turn to be very quiet and nice. And he told this young man, "Well, my friend, please let go of my collar and I will tell you." It's a rather long story. And this is the story Mullah told this man. He said, "Look, it was not very difficult for me to tell you the time. But if I have told you the time, then we are likely to end up talking to each other. We will become familiar with each other. I will ask you your name, you will ask me mine. And my house is just a few stops down the line. So it is going to come in the next 15 minutes or so. It's lunchtime, and out of sheer politeness and formality, I would ask you to come home for lunch, and I'm sure you would accept. And then you will arrive at my home, where you will meet my daughter, who is so very beautiful. And by the grace of God, you are also quite a handsome young man. So by the time the lunch gets over, you might fall in for each other. And then you might approach me at some point of time with a request for marriage. But how can I give my hand, the hand of my daughter in marriage, to someone like you? You don't even have a watch of your own. It is humorous. It makes certain laugh, but it is no laughing matter. Because Mullah is demonstrating the power of the mind. Simple situations arise in life, and the mind starts weaving a kind of a drama, writes a script, and has a climax. We fall for that climax, and we are completely cut off from the reality or the simplicity of the situation. This is how the mind has enslaved human beings. If we look around ourselves, we will find that most people who are suffering, a large number of them are trapped by their minds. They are living in a world of imagination, and they are responding from that imagination. And all this is due to the mind. So it is very important for a person who wants to tread the path of awareness to know about this immense creativity of the mind. It is necessary to know that mind weaves in situations that don't exist, and it traps us in those situations, and they start determining how we respond to the world. And this is sansar, the cycle of birth and death. Because we are not aware, because we are trapped by the mind, we keep coming to this world again and again. So a person who wants to really become free, it is important to know the mind. And we know the mind when we begin to realize that the mind is so creative. But we need not be trapped in these creations of the mind. We need to distance ourselves from the mind and look at it more objectively, so that we are not swayed or we are not carried away by what the mind is projecting.